Hi, gang. So today for this teacher station, we're going to talk about the surface area of pyramids. And some of the problems that are in this presentation are really going to require you to use a calculator. So be my guest. Usually on the problems that we'll do, you don't need a calculator, but there are some tricky ones on this. So just to make your life easier, you can use a calculator like this TI-84. If you don't have one, you can start getting used to one by going to the Google Store or to the Apple Store and downloading a free version of the TI. I think it's called the TI-85 or 85 Plus or something like that. Anyway, there's a free version of the calculator that you can download onto your smartphone if you don't have one. Or if you have a regular old calculator that can take square roots and do adding and subtracting, then you can use one of those. But I'm going to use this TI-84. It's very similar to what you'll use in 7th and 8th grade. So we'll start getting used to it today. All right, here we're going to jump right in. Surface area of pyramids. What are the differences between prisms and pyramids? Okay, so prisms have two equal bases. And if you took a slice through a prism, every single slice would have the same shape and area as the base. And remember, the base of the prism is the face that it's actually sitting on. So the top and the bottom is the base. And then all of the sides on a prism are rectangular. On pyramids, there is one base instead of two. The base identifies the type of pyramid. So for example, this might be a square pyramid, and this one might be a triangular pyramid. And all of the sides of a pyramid come up to a point or an apex or vertex, and therefore all of the sides form triangles. So you can imagine we'll be doing for surface area on pyramids, we'll be calculating a lot of triangle areas. Okay, so let's consider a square pyramid. How many sides would it have? Well, let's think. We got the base, so that's one side. And then we have a triangle for every side that comes up to the vertex or the apex, and there will be 4 of those, so 4 plus 1 is 5. All right, so it would have 5 sides, and the net looks like this, so a square in the middle, and then triangles on the outside. So this would be the net shape. If you cut down all of the sides and you opened it up like a piece of paper, then you would see this net shape. Okay, just to remind you, so our base here is square. We have a lateral face. Remember, the face is a triangle, and when we're going to calculate the area of these triangles, we need the perpendicular going from the base up to the tip of the triangle. So it's going to be the slant height of the triangle, not the vertical height of the pyramid. Remember that one. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so let's calculate some. We have a square pyramid here. It has a base of 4 on one side and 4 on another side, and the slant height of the triangle on the sides is 5 feet. Okay, so I think we have all the information we need. Let me switch over to my whiteboard camera. And remember the area. So we're going to add the area we're finding the total surface area. So we're going to find the area of the base, and the base is a square. And so the base equals 4 times 4. So it's base times length times width. So 4 times 4. And so that equals 16, and our units are feet. So 16 square feet. And there are 4 sides, and the sides of this one are all going to be the same because it's a square. All of the edges are the same. So I'm going to say side 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all going to be the same. So 4 times, and they're triangles. So I'm going to use a dot. 4 times 1/2. And the base of each triangle is 4. So you can see the base right here. Base of each triangle is 4, and the slant height is 5. So 4 times 5. So 1/2 times 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. And 8 times 5 is 40. So this equals 40 would be our lateral side. So our lateral surface area is going to be 40 square feet. So our lateral surface area is all the 4 sides without the base. That's 40 square feet. And our total surface area adds the base in. So 40 plus 16 is 56 square feet. Okay, remember, if I go too fast for you, you can always pause the video and back up and look at it again. Okay, here's a word problem version of a square pyramid. So Peter's Puzzle sells a wooden pyramid puzzle. The base is a square with side lengths of 6 inches. So it's a square, and we know that the base has got both sides are going to, or diagonal or opposite sides are all going to be, the sides are all going to be the same, and they're all going to be 6 since it's a square. So 6 times 6, and it's 36, and it's inches squared. That's our base. And then we have 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all the same. So I'm going to say 4 times 1/2. And our base of every triangular side is 6. And it says the slant height of the triangle is 10. So 4 times 1/2 would be 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 10 equals 120. 120 square inches. So our lateral surface area is just the 4 sides excluding the base, 120 square inches. And our total surface area, including the base, 120 plus 36, 156 square inches. Okay. All right, consider a rectangular pyramid, similar to a square, except for the triangles are not going to be all the same size. Okay, so I can't do this trick of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just multiply by 4. I have to consider every triangle now. And maybe 2 of them will be the same, 2 opposites will be the same, and these 2 opposites will be the same. So we have to take care on that one. All right. So here we have a triangle or a pyramid with a rectangular base. And I have one edge of the rectangle is 10 and one edge is 8. Now on this pyramid, this one does not give us the slant height of the triangles that are the sides. It only gives us the total height of the pyramid. So we have to do some work first before we get started. Now, let's take a look at what we have here. So what we have is a base that is 10 inches. So the total base is 10 inches. Okay. And then we have coming down from the apex, we have this dotted line that says it's perpendicular to the base, and it's 6 inches. Okay. And then if we were to go from this dotted line, right here on this dotted line, if we were to follow this dotted line all the way out to the edge, it would be 1/2 of this dimension of 10 inches. And so I'm going to call this part right here is going to be 5 inches. Okay, and now the slant height of the triangle would come down from the apex down to the place where I connected this triangle right here. So my slant height would be this part. And so this would be my slant height. Okay, now we have a formula called the Pythagorean formula that will help us figure out what that number is. Okay, so if you'll remember, Pythagorean formula says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'll remind you that we used this formula on our Pinewood Derby racetrack problem a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago now. So a squared would be 5 squared, b squared would be 6 squared, and c is our unknown. So that equals c squared. And that's what we're trying to solve. So 5 squared is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. And that equals c squared. And so 25 plus 36, that would be 61. So 61 equals c squared. Okay, this is where your calculator is going to come in handy because we need c. So c is the square root of 61. So two numbers multiplied by each other equals c. Okay? Or two numbers multiplied by each other equals 61. Yeah, that's the way I should say it. Two numbers multiplied by each other equals 61. So c equals the square root of 61. So let me turn on my calculator, and I'm going to enter the square root of 61 equals. And I'm going to use it to 3 decimal places. And that came out to be c equals 7.810. 7.81, and it is inches. So c equals 7.81. And that's the slant height of this triangle right here. Okay, so let's find out. Is the slant height for this triangle also the same? Well, let's find out. So if we were to look at the triangle coming out the other dimension, instead of having a base of 10, it has a base of 8. And our perpendicular drops down. So our perpendicular drops down, and it is still 6. But now our side over here is 4. So now we need to know what this slant height is for that triangle. All right, so our same trick. Pythagorean formula tells us that 4 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. So we have 16 plus 36 equals c squared. And so that is 52 equals c squared. And so our other slant height is, let's see, second square root of 52 equals 7.21. 211. Okay, so they're not the same. So our slant heights for our for our sides are going to be different. So let's write that down. So 7.81 and 7.211. And I'll erase the rest. Okay. So once again, if you need to back up and look at that again, it's just the Pythagorean theorem, and we're taking the square root of c, the square root of the two smaller sides added together, and we're coming up with c. The square root of the sum of the squares of the two shorter sides. Okay. So the area of the base, is the two edges are 10 inches and 8 inches. So 8 times 10. So that equals 80 square inches. Now we have two sides, this 8-inch side and this 8-inch side over here, that are going to be the same. So 2, so I'm going to call those 1 and 2. We have 2 times 1/2, and our base is 8. And remember, the slant height that we calculated is 7.81. And so 2 times 1/2 is 1. And so then we need 8 times 7.81. So 8 times 7.81. 62.48 inches squared. Sorry, I moved my camera. All right. And then we have sides 3 and 4. And there's 2 of those guys times 1/2. And their base was 10 inches. And the slant height for those triangles was 7.211. So 2 times 1/2 is 1, times 10 is 10, times 72.11 is 0.211 is equal to 72.11 square inches. All right. Now, our total surface area is the sum of the base and all 4 sides. Let me do lateral surface area first. So our lateral surface area is the sum of the 4 sides, excluding the base. So I already have 62.48 in my calculator. I'm going to add 72.11. And that gives me 134.59 square inches for my lateral surface area. And my total surface area, I just add my base, which was 80 square inches. So I'm going to say plus 80 is 214.59 square inches. Total surface area, lateral surface area. Okay, so the trick that we did here is that you notice that the slant height is the side that forms the hypotenuse of this triangle that is formed by the height of the pyramid extended straight out to the side, and then the hypotenuse of that triangle is this. And so we do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And you have to do it because we have to do it for both edges because they aren't the same. And so the slant height is going to be different on those faces. There you go. Okay. All right, what about triangular pyramids? Triangular pyramids. How many sides? Are any of them going to be the same size? Let's take a look. Here's the net. We have a regular old triangle right here, and here's the net. So we ended up with 3 sides that go up to the apex and then the triangular base. So 4 sides altogether. Okay, so as we saw with our rectangular base pyramid, you have to be very careful to when we use our formulas that the sides either all need to be the same of our base triangle. So in this one, we have 5 meters, 5 meters, and 5 meters. So the bases are all the same. And so the slant height of 7 is going to be the same on all of the triangular faces. And so we can just calculate using the one slant height. But we have to be careful. You have to check it. And so the area of the base, it's a triangle. So it's 1/2, and its base, which is 5, times height, which is 4.3. I got that right there. So the height of the base triangle, perpendicular from the base to the height of the shape, is 4.3 meters. Okay, so 5 times 4.3 would be 21.5. Divided by 2 would be 10.75. 10.75 meters squared. Okay, you can check me on your calculator if you want to do that. So what I did was 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 3 is 1.5. 0.3 is 1.5, so 21.5. And I divided that by 2. That gives me 10.75. If I multiply that times 2, that's 1.5. That's 20, so 21.5. Yep, that works out. Okay, then my 3 sides are the same. So I'm going to say 1, 2, and 3. These are all the same. So I'm going to say 3 times, and they're all triangles, 1/2 times the base, which is 5, and the height, which is 7. Okay, so that gives me, so 5 times 7 is 35, times 3, so let's use our calculator. 35 times 3 equals 105 divided by 2, 52.5 meters squared. And so our lateral surface area is just the 3 sides, not including the base. So lateral surface area is 52.5 meters squared. And our total surface area is the lateral surface area plus the base. So 52.75 plus, 52.5 plus 10.75 would be 63.25 square meters. So our total surface area. Okay? All right, next problem. Find the surface area, total surface area and lateral surface area. Let's see what kind of triangle we have. So we have, this has a base of 2 centimeters and 2 centimeters and 2 centimeters. So it is an equilateral triangle. That means that the sides are all going to have the same slant height, and it gives us all of the things that we need. So let's just go and calculate. Area of the base is 1/2 base times height, so it's 1/2 times, and the base is 2, and the perpendicular height of our base is 1.7 centimeters right there. So 1.7. So 1/2 times 2 is 1, times 1.7 is 1.7, and it's centimeters squared. Remember, area is always going to be a square units. And then we have 3 sides that are the same. So 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be the same. I'm going to go 3 times 1/2, and the base is all 2. And the height is all, slant height is 4. Okay, so 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1 times 4 is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. 12 centimeters squared. And so our lateral surface area is just the 3 sides without the base, or 12 centimeters squared. And our total surface area adds the base. So 12 plus 1.7 would be 13.7 centimeters squared. Okay. Next problem. Find the lateral surface area, and they give us a triangle, triangular base pyramid. That's what this net is. It's a triangular base pyramid, so the triangle in the center and the 3 triangles going out on that would form sides. So on this one, the sides aren't going to be the same. they tell us that it is an isosceles triangle. So this side, this base of the triangle would be 4. That means that this base would be 4. And this lateral height would be 5.7 meters. And this lateral height would be 5.7 meters. So these two triangles are the same, but this one is different. This one has a base of 6 and a lateral height of 5.2, a slant height of 5.2 meters. Okay, they did not give us the dimension of the height of this base triangle. And so since it only asks us for lateral surface area, we don't need that number. We're just going to calculate side, side, side. Okay, so we have two sides that are the same. So I'm going to say 1 and 2 are the same. So it's 2 times, and the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base, which was 4 meters, right there, 4 meters. And the height they gave us is 5.7 meters. So 2 times 1/2 is 1, times 4 is 4, times 5.7 would be 22.8. And that's meter squared. Let's see if I did my math right. 4 times 5.7, 22.8. Okay, and the third side is 1/2 times, remember the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, and the third side is 6 meters long, or the base is 6 meters long, and the height that they gave us for that one is 5.2 meters. So 1/2 times 6 would be 3, and 3 times 15.2, 5.2 would be 3 times 5.2 would be 15.6 square meters. So our lateral surface area is the three sides added together. So 22.8 plus 15.6, 14, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 5 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 30, and the decimal point comes straight down. 38.4 square meters is our lateral surface area. Okay, so just the three sides. Careful what it asks you for. Find the lateral surface area, and that means the area without the base. Okay? Don't do extra work if you don't need to. Okay, the net of an equilateral triangular pyramid is shown below. Okay, equilateral means that all the sides are the same. So this side is equal to this side is equal to this side. If all of the faces are congruent, what is the lateral surface area of the pyramid? Okay, so all of the faces are congruent means that they're all equal. So we need to find the surface area of one of these triangles. So they're all congruent. That means the slant height, or the height of this triangle, is the same as the slant height of this triangle. Okay, because all the side edges are equal. And what does that measure? So if I go from this distance to this distance, that is equal to 2 bases of the triangle. And so each triangle is 8, has a base of 8. So here we go. We want the lateral surface area. So we're going to do 3 faces. They're all the same. So remember, it's, area equals 1/2 base times height. So I have 3 times 1/2. And the bases, we all said, are all the same. We said there's 8 because there's 1 base plus 1 base, and the total is 16. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 8. And they gave us the height is 6.93. Okay. So 1/2 times 8 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. and 6.93 times 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 9 is 18. Carry the 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. And we start with 0, 3, 9, 6, and add it together. 6, 8 and 3 is 11, carry the 1. 3 and 1 is 4, 4 plus 9 is 13, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 6 is 8. So we have 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places. And it says, which of the following could be, what is the lateral surface area of the pyramid, A, B, C, or D? So I got 83.16, and the units are millimeters squared. So I think the answer would be C, 83.16 millimeters squared. Okay? You want to think about that logic again? Go back up a minute or two and look at how we broke down this net picture. Okay? The key was, it says it's an equilateral triangle, which means all the sides are the same. Okay? Very good. Let's go to the next one. Okay, the net of a rectangular prism is shown below. All right. Which could be the lateral surface area of this prism? Well, first of all, we have to figure out how this prism was standing. Which one are the bases? Because lateral surface area is the sides without the bases. So I'm going to take a guess that if we folded this net back up and stood it on its base, it would have a picture that looks something like this. So I believe that it's standing on its 4 by 1 edges. Okay, so that means we have a 4 by 7 face, side and side, and we have a 1 by 7 face, front and back. That would be our lateral surface area. So we have 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them are going to be the same. Okay, our side and side are going to be the same, and both of those are going to be 7 times 4. So 7 times 4 is 28, and there are 2 of them. So 2 times 28 equals 56. And it didn't tell us a unit, so I'm just going to say unit squared. And then the other 2 are going to be the same. Front and back are 2 times 1 by 7. So 2 times 1 times 7 is 7. So that's 14. And so our lateral surface area is this, all 4 sides added together. So 56 plus 14 would be 70 square units. And so looking at the list A, B, C, or D, I would say C, 70 square units, is our lateral surface area. Okay? Step by step. Okay. Last problem. Cassie creates nameplates for participants in a panel discussion. The net below shows the pattern for the equilateral triangular prism she uses for each nameplate. Equilateral means that all 3 sides are the same. So if we know this side, it looks like it's 4 inches. 4 inches, 4 inches, and 4 inches. Okay? So all 3 sides have to be the same. The net below shows the pattern for the equilateral triangular prism she uses for each nameplate. Which expression can be used to determine the surface area of the nameplate? Okay, well, let's just independently write it down. It looks like we don't need to know an answer. We need to know what the calculation would be. Okay, so it's an equilateral triangle. So we have two sides. So the bases, we have 2 times. The bases are going to be the same. And the area of a triangle is 1/2. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And the base says it's 4 inches. And the height says it's 3.5 inches. 3.5. Okay, so I have 2 times 1/2 is 1. So that leaves me with 4 times 3.5. So 4 times 3 is 12 times 1/2 plus 1/2 of 4 is 14. So that's going to give me, oh, I don't need to solve it. I just need to know it's 2 times 1/2 times 4 times 3.5. And that's the same as saying 2 times 1/2 is 1, or 4 times 3.5. Okay, then the other 3 sides are also going to be the same. So these are all going to be 4 by 7. So my sides 1, 2, and 3, they're all going to be the same. So I'm going to say 3 times 4 times 7. And so the total surface area would be the sum of those two things. So 3 times 4 times 5 plus 4 times 3.5. Okay, do we have one of those? So 7 times 4 times 3. Oops, I made a mistake. This said 3 times 4 times 7, and I wrote 5. 3 times 4 times 7. So we have that one, 3 times 4 times 7. And then 4 times 3.5. And they have the 1/2 and the 2, and we just simplified that to be 1. So A matches. I don't think we need to go any further, but let's just double check. Let's see. B says 7 times 4 times 2. Nope, that one's not right. C says 7 times 4 times 3. Yep, we have that. And then it says 1/2 times 4 times 3.5. It didn't count. This one doesn't count both the top and the bottom. It only counts one of them. So that one's not right. And this one has 3 things that it's adding together. That can't be right. 7 times 4, no, that's not right. Okay, so A works out to be the right answer for us. All right. So remember, you have the great opportunity to look at the videos, and you can always pause and go back and look at them again. If I went too fast, just pause them and do your calculations and come back and see how did I get those things? Okay, so I can't wait to see you guys, and I hope this video was helpful for you. So see you soon.